The V&A Museum of Childhood holds the nation's collection of childhood objects. It has one of the largest collections of childhood objects anywhere in the world. It's unique because of that, because it doesn't just cover toys, as you might imagine. There are lots of toy museums in the world, and it doesn't just collect things that relate to childhood. It has all those things in one place. So you'll find toys from every period in history, primarily from Europe, but some from Asia and other countries too. We have an incredibly important collection of dolls, over 8,000 dolls, and we have also an exceptionally important collection of dolls' houses. And it's also in an incredible Victorian building. So when you come in, it's like a big iron tram shed. So it's great for kids to run around, and parents can feel comfortable that kids are running around and safe, but adults can come and find a quiet corner. It is a unique treasure trove about the history of childhood. There's masses here for everybody. Whether you're a 3-year-old child, or whether you're a 90-year-old adult, you can come here and get some experience of these extraordinary collections.
The house is a very special place, partly because Dennis Evers was my friend. I've been working for him for the last 6 years of his life. And after his death, me and my colleague David have been running the house. Dennis Evers started it off in 1979. And rather than just looking at things, he wanted his public to step back in time and experience the early 18th and 19th century. Sounds, smells and visuals really take you away back in time. And one is going to pick up on a family of 18th century silk merchants. We're all around them, but you can never actually see them. So it's much more a matter of the heart than of the mind. Quite often it's difficult for people to be quiet for 10 minutes, let alone 45 minutes during their visit in the house. But Dennis Evers always said, like, if people do not wish to talk whilst they're in the house, they're blown away by it. And that is what happens exactly. It works on so many levels, and we've got lots of guests who are totally blown away by it all the time, every time.
The museum tells the story of the London Hospital since its foundation, and it looks at the history of healthcare over the last 250 years. It also looks at the stories of some of the people who've worked at the hospital, people like Thomas John Bernardo of Dr. Bernardo's Homes, and Edith Cavell, nurse who was shot in the First World War. And it looks at some of the patients, most famous ones, Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. Everything here has been used in the hospital or relates to the hospital, and it helps to illustrate a very vivid story. The London Hospital is just a really interesting place. First time I passed it 30 years ago, I thought, what an interesting building. It's been here on the same site since 1757, and it used to be Britain's biggest hospital. It's still one of the biggest and busiest hospitals in Britain, and it's just got such an interesting story. It's a museum you can do quite quickly. Most of our visitors think it's a really rewarding experience to come here.
Whitechapel Gallery is something for everybody. It has a contemporary programme, so it's people that are interested in art essentially, but there are also more sort of modern collections on display. The Whitechapel Gallery always has something free to see, so there's always an exhibition that's free entry, which makes it a place that you can just drop into. There's children's workshops, there's adult classes. There's also great interpretation panels and marketing materials which explain all about the artwork. The staff are really friendly here. All the gallery assistants are briefed to explain artwork. And, you know, we welcome people questioning what's in the gallery and being able to be given an opportunity to explain more about it. It's also very near Spitalfields Market and lots of other great attractions within the area, so you can have a real active day when you come to the Whitechapel, not just visiting the gallery, but other markets and shops and restaurants nearby.
Woden's Music Hall is the world's oldest surviving grand music hall. It's the last of its kind. It's a row of Georgian houses with a music hall built across the backyards. The music hall was built in 1858.
We do a variety of performances and art events here that I think are really unique to this area as well.
It was built as a palace of varieties with different kinds of entertainments going on the whole time, and it was a real mix of sort of high art, opera, and people who ate live rats, trapeze artists, things that kept people entertained. Now we present a different range of things as well. We have traditional music hall nights, we have classical concerts, we have operas, we've got plays. We also do readings and talks, history lectures, guided tours, so it's a real kind of general venue for the performing arts.